Hello and welcome to Angel Talk. I have Gracie Record here.
Hi.
So honored that she's here in Kansas City.
Yes, to hang out here at headquarters and talk and dream.
Yeah, and dream.
And dream. Big dreams.
Today we're going to talk about an important message and why the Angel Fashion Show started. And I wanted everyone to hear Gracie's story because I think it's so cool on what got her into the Angel Fashion Show community and, stepping out of her comfort zone. So we're just going to head right in and talk about that.
Okay, first let's talk about why you even started the fashion show.
Okay.
Because that's you.
Yes, so the fashion show started in 2018 because from my own struggles, I guess, of feeling, quote unquote, fat in my off season or not confident. I wasn't confident in a bikini in my off season, which was crazy to me because I knew that I looked great in a bikini, but I didn't feel great because I kept comparing myself to my stage photos, and it was really a mental draining to go through that kind of, not quite on body dysmorphia, but knowing that you look good but not feeling confident.
Right.
And I know a lot of athletes struggle with that in their off season. So we created the Angel Fashion Show, and we were saying, we're gonna walk on stage and feel confident in our off season bodies, and we did that, and it was amazing. And I remember stepping off that stage in 2018 and saying, I'm never competing again. Okay, I did compete again.
But like years later then.
Yeah, years later. But that fulfilled my kind of need, walking on that stage in 2018. I didn't compete again until 2022 because I was getting ready. I was thinking I was going to jump right into a prep, but that was all I needed to feel that confidence that I was craving. I was craving that confidence. So this was in 2018. And since then, since 5 years of doing this, the why behind the fashion show has evolved into so much more than that. To me, it's more so about building this community of women, giving a place for athletes in this sport to come together and connect, because this is a lonely sport.
Very.
So since,
It's
started.
It's a lonely lifestyle, not just a lonely sport.
Yeah.
Like even my girls that don't do the sport at all, which is most of my clients.
Yeah.
It's just a lonely lifestyle. So whether you compete or not compete, putting yourself in an environment where people are just like you is huge.
Yeah. And I remember when I was, in 2018, before I started the fashion show, I felt very lonely. I had a lot of friends. That's kind of weird to admit that I did feel lonely because there's not a lot of us, and we are the vast minority in the world of this fitness, health, self-growth mindset character. And the Angel Fashion Show has really given me that space, and I have had all of my friends now are friends I've met from the fashion show, and I just love the community that we've built.
Yeah, the community is huge. And so when you said you said something about I meant to interrupt you earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt you. Like that confidence, that mental part. Like, what was the mental struggle that you were with when the confidence? Like, what does it mean to it all be mental? But you look good. What did it feel like to be so confused as to what I'm looking at in the mirror? Looks good, but why am I thinking this?
Yeah, so I think a lot of athletes have struggled with this, or just women in general, because in this sport you get so lean and you look amazing on stage, and you get all these compliments, and you do look amazing on stage, but then when you're back in your everyday body, it is still, as a competitor, you build a great physique in your off season. You're gonna have a great body in your off season if you do it right.
Right.
And it's not stage lean, it's maybe 5-10 pounds up from that. And that you, like on paper, you objectively look better than 99% of the world.
Right.
So it's weird that you have these thoughts, and you're like looking at this from a third party. Kara, you look amazing. Why do you keep feeling like you're fat? And I'm like,
right.
And when I say fat, I don't mean that. Like for me, that was like where my brain would go. I guess instead of that, I would say like fluffy, or just not how I wanted to.
Right.
And what I was saying, we are the minority right now in the world, but we need to change that.
Yes.
And it's about building this community together, because this is what, not to go off on a tangent here, but they say like we are the first generation that will not outlive our parents. That is very shockingly sad.
Right, that's sad.
Because the fact that we're so unhealthy, that our
Mentally
parents,
and physically?
yeah, mentally and physically,
Yeah.
that our parents are going to outlive us. I'm not going to be, I'm not involved in that. I'm not going to participate in that.
Yes, we are opting out of that one.
Yes. And
yes.
we need to build this community and show people that being fit and healthy
is sustainable
and
and
fun.
it's realistic and it's fun.
And you can eat donuts.
And you can eat pizza. Like you can eat foods that you love and still have the body that you want and the health that you want. And that's part of just definitely my message, and then my message here within using her and using
There's a bird outside, I think.
using the just being able to in the community, within the community that she's built or the fashion show has built, is just women, obviously. So to teach them and to lead them being the biggest thing through my journey, through her journey now of food freedom is what we call it, is our goal. Because that's where that freedom is, where confidence comes from.
Yes.
You know, so like when you walk into the grocery store we did yesterday and you can eat any foods that you want, that's confidence. Confidence in knowing that I can eat this, this, and this and still have the body that I want.
Yeah, I'm glad we're talking about this because confidence is so much more than feeling confident on stage. It's the whole package. It's feeling confident to take a trip and not have to stress about, oh my gosh, will I have the food I eat? Will I be able to get my workouts in? It's being confident in yourself that,
Self-trust.
yeah, self-trust. And that's what I want to talk about to merge into, you know, why you signed up
Right.
for the fashion show and that whole, so let's go back to 2021 or the end of 2020.
Let's go to 2020.
Okay.
When I first got my first suit from Angels, it was literally because y'all would customize it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had contacted 2 other companies and they wouldn't customize it. They customized it, so obviously that's how I got into it.
Yeah, so what was your specific customization you wanted?
I really don't know. I
Okay.
had it in my head and I was just like trying to get it out on paper. And when I talked to Deb, was my designer, and I just kind of was like, I didn't even send her a picture. I was like, I'm not sure. I like blues. Like, look. And I kind of showed her like maybe a picture of the ocean.
Okay.
And I was like, and she said, okay, cool. And she made it, and it was absolutely the most beautiful thing in the world. I loved it.
And then one thing I want to cut in here, you know, how tall are you?
I'm 5'11" and a half.
5'11" and a half. So that is taller than most of our customers. So, you know, I really think like for Angel Competition bikinis, our suits are customized by every dimension you give us.
Yeah.
So that makes a difference too. You know, if you are not the typical, what's the typical athlete? Let's say 5'5", 36-inch glutes, you know, we can make a suit that you feel confident in because we make every suit right here in Kansas City. Yeah.
And so it was perfect. She did, like, it was perfect. And went on, got my 2 shows. I did 2 shows that year. That was my first year. I had been doing this for 8 years, reversing and cutting. And God was like, this is your next level, competition, blah, blah. So my coach, Dylan, I've had him since day one. But when I got off stage the second time, my feedback was more confidence, build more confidence. So I don't wear heels ever in real life. I don't wear makeup, I don't wear hair, anything. So I knew that was something I need to work on.
Yeah.
And they clarified. They were like, yep, this is what you need to do. And I was like, okay. So my first thought when I'm on my way home from that show was I'm going to go into building season because I needed to build shoulders and all this other stuff. And so I'm not going to do a short building season because muscle doesn't grow in a short time. How am I going to build confidence if I cannot get on stage to compete? If I'm not willing to get on stage to compete metabolically, hormonally, all that. And I promise you, like the next week, the fashion show comes up on my Instagram, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll do this. So I went to it, and I was like, applied, but I had to send a video.
Yes.
Well, actually, this is like a month into it, a month after my show, because I had gained weight. Obviously, I had to gain like 5 pounds at that time through my reverse. And so I was like, I usually do not do videos. I've never sent a video until that day. Like I had went to go do a couple things that over the years, and I was like, I never did it. And finally I was like, just do the video. So I sent this video.
I'm so glad you did the video.
I wish, do you still have that video?
We still, 100%. We have all of the videos.
Let's watch it because I know that I went I said, this is a suit that y'all made me, and I would try it on for you, but I'm a little too big. And like, that was just kind of like me, you know, I was just completely raw in me. And
okay, I remember that now, because one thing that we love at the fashion show is the authenticity.
Yes.
Being confident with whoever you are. We are not asking you to come and go, my name is Kara Jones, and I am a great Angel Fashion Show model.
Because.
And I am, no, you just be yourself.
Yes.
Like, we're asking you just, and that was, you know, Gracie from Louisiana, y'all. I would put this on,
but it won't fit in my legs.
I've been building my legs. It was just so cute. Okay, keep going.
Yes. Anyway, so then I sent that video and I got accepted, and I was like, I posted on my story. I'm waiting for that to come up. Like, I'm so excited, and I didn't even know what it meant. I didn't even know what it meant. But in my head, this is another lesson I learned. In my head, I'm like, okay, you're gonna be like, this is gonna be a huge show, and like bajillion people watching. Like, that's what I built it up in my head, you know. And so I ended up taking a road trip by myself, and so this was like a 12 days I had planned, and I was going to Houston, a couple stops before I went to Kansas City. And my parents were really close. We're really close family. And the night before I left, my dad was like, text me and said, hey, I'm gonna come with you on this road trip. And my first thought was, if anyone comes with me, I'm not going to fulfill the intentions that I've set, which is like meet people, talk to people, make sure that I go for what I am going for fully. And this was the hardest no that I've ever said in my life. And I just texted him back and said, no, not this trip, Dad. Ooh, like, hurts my heart.
Yeah.
But it was the best thing I could have done.
Chills.
And I know, because I met so many people, and I connected with so many people, and I didn't know anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to you for like 1 second. You didn't know me. You probably don't remember this, but we were about to walk on stage, and you were looking at the screen because it had the fashion show, and I just was looking at the screen with you, and you were standing there, and I said, you built this? And you said, yeah. And I said, how's it feel? And you said, amazing. And I said, yeah, it should be. And that was it. That's the only thing that we said to each other.
I have so much chills just hearing this story. I listened because you were talking about this on Savannah. Oh my gosh, I'm like tearing up.
I know, me too.
And I was listening to you talk about this on Savannah's story, and I was like, that just so, like, in that moment, because I honestly don't remember that. And so I remember, like, that was a Kansas City fashion show, and the Kansas City fashion shows are very close to my heart because we have full control over them. So when you said 1 billion people were watching, I actually know exactly how many people bought tickets because we have just complete control. There was 427 people that year that was bought awesome. Tickets. But anyways, okay, keep going.
No, so that we got 2 walks or 3 walks that show, and it was so, the red suit that I wore, the wings that I bought, like everything in my head. And I didn't put my lashes on because I didn't know how. I didn't put my extensions in because I didn't know how. Like, I didn't do my makeup because I didn't know how. All I did was like the makeup I have on right now, straightened my hair, had my wings, and I don't know. Though it was the most beautiful picture still today, even my stage shots are nothing compared to this one picture that I got from that show.
Yeah.
And I was 100 and like, I remember texting Dylan and Chris, my coaches, after, and I sent them that picture, and I said, this is 160 pounds, which my stage weight is 140, and I've never felt more confident in my life.
That's what this is about. I love hearing stories like that, because the Angel Fashion Show is about getting out of your comfort zone, meeting new people, and being able to tap into that highest version of yourself. And I know that sounds kind of cliche and cheesy, but it's truly like the most open environment to give you that space and that safety of you show up whoever you are. Yeah,
and it was huge. It helped me not just with my confidence and my walk and all of that, but just the connection and the people that I met, and obviously it changed my life. You know, it changed my life because it gave me a different place and a different reason, right? So, and I think I told them, and I probably haven't said it much, but the competing is not what I love. I don't love it. I love the community. Mm-hmm. The competing is like the end result of what I love to do, which is train, eat, and talk. Train, eat, and be with people that do the same thing. They like to train and eat, you know, and competing is just a way to make it even higher. Take that. So even for me now, the 2020, so I took a year and a half off, like in my building season, 2023, 2 shows, and I'm done. Like, I did great. I did everything I wanted
Gracie
to do.
killed it this year. Masters Nationals.
Yeah.
Your package, that was amazing.
But it was all, like, even...
Your glutes.
Yeah.
So tight, just everything.
But the biggest thing was the one goal that I had when I left stage 2021 was you need to build confidence. You need to learn how to walk in heels, don't look like a giraffe. And that's it. That was the only goal. Obviously, the building was going to come, whether or not, because that's just what I do, right?
Yeah.
And so, but when I walked on the stage at Optimum, I was like, this is just another day in my life. You know, it wasn't even a stage. Like, it was a huge stage. It was bigger than, obviously at that point, biggest stage I had been on.
Yeah.
But it was like, no, I was so confident in my walk and on that stage. My body just, it is what it is. You know, it's going to be what it's going to be. But what I can control is how I present myself and my aura, like how much confidence I show through my smile, my walk. And the reason that I was so confident is because I've got on the stage with y'all so many times, and it was just like another day, you know?
I love hearing that story, and I can relate that to other athletes. So I'll bring up Holly Larson.
Yeah.
She did the show with you. Her first Angel Fashion show was at Kansas City show in 2021, March. And she told me later that that was her favorite and her best package she's ever brought to the stage. And I said, Holly, we don't ask you to be stage lean. And she goes, well, I wanted to try out and I wanted to be stage lean. But she said the fact that there was no pressure to be stage lean, she didn't get in her head and she didn't overthink, which competitors, we all do it. And she said that was her best package ever on the Angel Fashion Show stage. I'm like, well, I'm sorry that you wasted it when it wasn't a competition, but I'm also happy that you can see, you know, it is the Angel Fashion Show is great for so many different reasons. And that's another reason, you know, if you want to kind of do a practice peak week and see,
that's what we do. So we say, like, I've done, I don't know how many, like 4 or 5 fashion shows. And the way that we do my building and prep is just very consistent. So, and those keep me consistent. So like we'll reverse and then we do a little mini cut, we reverse. And so I just stay here, you know, so that I can keep my body healthy and the physique, I'm confident in my physique. I have a flat stomach. I'm eating a lot of food, like, you know, 3,500 calories and a flat stomach. Like that speaks volume, you know? And so those, I love using them as just little milestones throughout the year, you know? And so, you can prep or use it as a practice or a mini cut is what I like to call it. Again, with no pressure. You know, it's huge. And so the fashion show has just been life-changing. And for a million different reasons.
And I like that, you know, because I also use it as, you know, I've said I'm going to do at least one fashion show every year and I'm going to compete at least once a decade. Maybe more than that, but that's my like minimum. And doing one fashion show a year, I don't need that to stay lean and healthy, but I know as myself, I will be happiest if I'm proud of myself and proud of the person I am. And that person, that woman that I want to be is fit, healthy, not overindulging. It can be so easy to overindulge. You know, with all of there's a lot of good food, and these food manufacturers are really good at making things super addicting. So it can be
that's how they make money.
Really easy in the moment to overindulge. So, but I know I'm not going to be proud of that person. So I do like to think like the Angel Fashion Show does keep me on track because, and it makes me happier because, you know, my happiness is tied to how proud I am of the person that I am.
It doesn't, it's not tied to your body. It's tied to how proud you are of the body and health that you keep and maintain.
That's okay, because there was a point in my life where I would have said my happiness is tied to my body,
to how I look.
Which is wild to think about how much growth I've had in that aspect, because just like any other girl, I've struggled with, you know, eating disorders and body dysmorphia. I'm not saying any other girl, but it is common for females.
It's very common.
It's a lot more common than you think.
No, it's
unfortunately
common, very common.
And to be here and to say raw that I'm happy when I'm proud of who I am, it's like I have chills just thinking like how far I've grown into that person. That makes me so proud of myself.
And that's huge, and that's part of my coaching business, whole body health. That's part of it. You know, and that takes a lot. It takes a lot more self-awareness,
Mhm.
right? Of you even admitting that you have all these bad, disordered thoughts about food, about your body. You know, people, it's normalized right now in this world to be down on yourself and to be and compare and to beat yourself up, and it's not normal.
Yeah, there's so many things in the world right now that are normal that we want to change because they should not be normal.
Right.
It should not be normal, as we said earlier. It should not be normal for your parents to outlive you because of your poor health and fitness choices. It should not be normal to have an eating disorder. It shouldn't be normal to have disordered thoughts around food. You know.
Yeah, and that comes with knowledge. So knowledge is the only thing that will increase your confidence, because then you know, right?
Yeah.
If you know that the pizza is not gonna make you fat, then okay, then I have confidence in eating it, and that goes every day, right?
Okay, this brings up one of my favorite quotes about the knowledge. Being in the business world, I'm thinking about like the competitive advantage of, what does Angel bring to the table, and so I always, reading business books and things like that. And one of my favorite quotes is, the best competitive advantage in life is the ability to learn faster. And when you really think about that, that is so true in learning, being willing to learn, being willing to drop your ego and admit that, oh, I don't know it all. Because, when I started working with Gracie and, learning her philosophy with food, I told her, I'm not an emotional eater. I don't have problems with food. But it was because I thought that was normal. So, because a lot of other people have that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I think 6 months into working with you and chatting with you that I finally said, Gracie, I think I am an emotional eater.
Yeah. And there's every client I have is an emotional eater.
Yeah.
Every woman, everybody, I don't work with men, but every woman is an emotional eater. Unless they are not. And if they are not, they're probably not listening and watching me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because so for me, I'm not an emotional eater, but I was at one point. That's not how I had the eating disorder, So, and again, that self-awareness is, so whenever you stop, so I'll talk to you a lot about labeling yourself. I am not, or I am, either one. But whenever you're saying I am not, or I am X, that's when you need to say, okay, hang on, let me reevaluate this. Because am I? And then, do I want to be that person? Do I want to be labeled that, right? And so then but that's the self-awareness. So we're trying to figure out how to help people become self-aware. That would be one of my, that's my goal as a coach, is to become self-aware. So, because until then, I can't change anything.
Yeah.
Because then you're just going to tell yourself that you're not an emotional eater.
Yeah.
So then, therefore, you're going to keep doing it.
And self-awareness is like an onion. You will keep peeling back layer after layer. This year, I have peeled more layers off of the onion than any other year.
And it's huge.
Yeah.
And it's changed your life.
Yes, it really has.
It's changed your life. And because then you're able to control your life. And until then, you're just flowing. And not, people don't get a coach or they don't know what they don't know. And even that quote, people are like, I don't even know what that means, right? But we don't know. But here's the biggest thing I can tell people is, if you are not happy with what you do or what you look like, what you're doing today, how you think, then every decision you've made until today, moving forward, make the complete opposite decision. I remember I told you that.
Yeah.
And that would be the easiest thing to do. So everything you eat today, don't eat it again, ever again. That's the easiest thing to do to change, because what got you here is going to keep you here.
Yes.
Or it's very simple. It's very simple philosophy, but people don't invest time. They don't invest money. They just think that, I don't even know what they think, that it's easy. It's not easy.
And change is very, very hard. I always think of this as a very dramatic situation, but when you think of a woman who's in an abusive relationship and she stays with them, it's really hard to understand why a woman would stay in that relationship. But then when you think about human psychology and you think, she has found comfort in this because it's what she's known for so long. Maybe it was a unfortunate situation of growing up in an environment like that, and then that's where she led to. So when you think about that, it's more comfortable for a human to stay in that really bad environment than to actually change. Like, change is so much harder than we think. Like, we always say, oh, change is hard, but it's so hard to change and be self-aware to know, like, even though this is comfortable for me, even though, you know, doing late night binges or obsessing over going on trips, am I gonna have my food, even though, you know, that might be comfortable, it's really hard to live like that, even though it's comfortable, you know, it's, so I think like being that self-awareness and knowing that.
Yeah, and that comes with building self-trust. Like, self-trust is what allows you to trust that no matter what, you are going to take care of you.
Yes.
So no matter if this guy leaves, comes or goes, I'm going to be okay, right? And that takes time also, and intention to be that one, you know? And it does all come back to your health, because that ultimately controls your mind and controls your body. So everything comes back to what choices, right? Choices that every day you wake up and you make 100 million decisions a day, from pushing snooze to the time you intentionally go to bed is all decisions. And my goal every day is just to make the best decision that I can every hour, every minute.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, reflect and say, did you do the best that you could today? Yes. Okay, then let's just do it again tomorrow. Because I have no idea what I'm doing in life, and even in this bikini world, in business, even being here in Kansas. Like, I just know that my intentions are to speak to women about food freedom and lead them, and then I'm gonna do the best that I can every day, and I do, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I can do. I can't do any more.
Yeah.
You know?
So we're gonna start wrapping this up here. One thing I want to end on is the self-trust. And having that self-trust in yourself will bring the confidence. So when we talk about the Angel Fashion Show, it's the confidence and the self-trust, knowing when you show up to our opening ceremony that you can be whoever you are in a safe place and let your highest self shine. And having that self-trust in you to take that leap and make that decision because it can be very scary.
Yeah.
To, you know, someone like you knew no one.
Right.
You'd never been to Kansas City.
Right.
You'd never been on a road trip like that by yourself.
Right.
You know, and I remember watching a reel that you made after the Angel Fashion Show with Megan, Meal Prep Megan.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, like, they're best friends now. And
I
remember Megan, she came in and she seemed a little shy, but then by the end of the weekend, she was just, she, you know, it gave her the safety and a space to open up and be, because I can be that person that's, you know, in a room, very shy if I don't know anyone. Yeah. But I like, you know, we give you the space to be yourself.
To be yourself. Yeah. And to meet people, like I said, that you relate to 100%. Yeah. So, yeah. And
some girls take this, we give you the space to be yourself. They take this to another level, and I love it, with the themes where they have, you know, an alter ego that they want to be on stage for a little bit. Someone Jen did Marilyn Monroe last weekend in San Antonio, and she had someone, and then she also did a Ninja Turtle. You know, we've had people do I love doing Wonder Woman, you know, just being on stage and different personas of these powerful, you know, icons or women. The turtle was, I don't know, our Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I can't even say that. Teenage Mutant. I'm not. They're just powerful. I don't think they're girls. Well, maybe they are. I don't know. We need to ask Christina. She would know. Yeah, she would know. She would know. But yeah, it's fun. It's almost like a dress-up party for adults. It really is. Because you can be whatever you want to be. And I don't like Halloween specifically, but I like to be in a costume that gives me power. Yeah. Makes me feel powerful. Yeah. You know? But anyways. Let's wrap that up. Okay. Great talk. Awesome. Yes, great talk. Yes, let us know what you thought in the comments below, and what future podcast ideas you have, because we love to talk, and our goal is to spread this mission, this message, because we want to make our lifestyle normal. Yeah. The majority. Right. And it's not our lifestyle training every day. We don't train every day. We don't count macros every day. Like, it's just a freedom of any restriction would be a good way to put it. Yeah. And be healthy for our families, for ourselves. Yes. You know? Yeah. So and then we have 5 shows next year. Right now? Yes, we have 5 shows next year. Information is coming out very soon. We'll post all about it in December. We will have the full schedule for 2024. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be fun. Okay. Bye. Thank you for watching. Okay, that was